Anyone that I'm talking to that has been watching all the videos and just waiting for that first opportunity, I'm telling you, just take it. You won't be upset you did. And once you have one, you get that bug and now you just want to own them all.
Hey guys, Rhett here. What's going on? I am absolutely honored to have my client Brendan on the channel today. Brendan has been with me for a couple months now. He is kicking butt. He's taking names. He already has his first property. It's already been rehabbed. We already have a tenant lined up with an inspection this week. Brendan, thanks so much for coming on here today.
Rhett, thank you so much. It's an honor. Appreciate it.
Oh, the honor is mine. Now, Brendan, I wanted to get you on the channel for a couple reasons, and I want you to talk about your experience. But before I get into all that, you're wearing a hat right now. It says Donovan Real Estate Team. I love it. It looks great. Talk a little bit about what you do every single day.
Yeah, so I am a full-time real estate agent. I help people buy and sell residential property, land, new construction, resales. I've been doing that about 7 years now. My mother was actually a real estate broker, so I guess I feel like it runs in my family and in my blood. It's just something I've had a passion for a long time. I know you know a little bit of my backstory, but started out in the mortgage industry and then went to insurance and found Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like a lot of real estate investors have. And after that, got my license, jumped in 100%, started helping people buy and sell. And then I started slowly buying my own properties.
Yeah. So Brendan, this is what you do every day. So talk a little bit about now properties that you've purchased in the past. Where have they all been?
Okay, so I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. So we're on the coast, beach community, college town. My first investment property was a short sale, a little $70,000 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in maybe 2017. And then let's see, fast forward 5 years, I didn't really do anything else. And then about a year and a half ago, I bought my first short-term rental, a beach house, an Airbnb. And that's been going okay, but the winters are very slow. So the off season here is very slow. So you make all your money in that one season, right? You got that spring, summer into fall, you make all your money but that has to carry you through the winter and the cold months where people aren't visiting. And so I just wanted to figure out another way to supplement my income. And I, dove into and getting lost in the YouTube algorithms and finding things and Dave Ramsey and Graham Stephan, and then you popped up somehow. So I clicked on it, started talking. I think I streamed all your videos maybe in a week or week and a half, and after that I was hooked. I was like, man, Section 8 is something I don't know anything about. So it was good to learn all the information, because if I have clients that possibly start asking me about this different investment vehicle, I want to have some kind of background in it. And then I was like, man, if I could roll my short-term rental that's, only doing good part of the year, take that equity, purchase something that gives me cash flow every month, that was like when the light bulb went off. And again, started out with that condo, did a 1031 exchange into the beach house. Now I've taken that beach house, we just closed on it. So I have those funds. And now that we are getting done with the first Section 8 property that I bought, I'm going to exactly, let's see, probably this week, I want to have a call with you and figure out, all right, what do we need to do to scale now? So I want to have a game plan, a roadmap. I've got almost my first one under, in terms of under my belt. It's almost, it is, we've accepted a tenant. It just needs to pass the Section 8 inspection. And then I'll be ready to go, foot to the floor. I'm ready to go.
So Brendan, when you first started looking into Section 8, what attracted you to the real estate niche? You'd done Airbnb, you'd done long-term cash tenants, you're in real estate every day, you do new construction, you sell new construction, you sell homes, the pre-existing homes. Right. What really drew you towards Section 8? And you said, what made you say, I want to put my money into this?
So there's two factors that really jumped out to me. Where I live, property is very expensive. Coastal properties are very expensive. So it would take me 5 to 6 years to save up my cash flow and or, money from, buying and selling real estate to roll into the next property. You're talking about buying properties at $500,000 or more. You're coming out with a chunk of change. So the two things that really stood out to me with Section 8 was low barrier of entry. I could buy 4 to 5 properties with the same down payment I would be doing on a $500,000 property. And then, of course, what everyone gets excited about is, Airbnb doesn't have that steady income. We saw, dips and valleys, and the winter is very slow here. But when that Section 8 rental income is guaranteed by the U.S. government, that was when I was like, okay, I can either take my chance and have some good months in Airbnb, or I can spread it out and have a guarantee every single month, no matter if there's a pandemic that we just went through, no matter if there's a government shutdown, whatever the case is, I'm getting my money in the beginning of the month, each month.
Yeah. And you're 100% right, Brendan. And that's what drove me into Section 8 over a decade ago. And that's what's brought so many more people into the program from the private sector investor side, just like you. And you think about the popularity of Section 8 with the people out there who are talking about it now on social media, and it's becoming a little bit more mainstream, but you're still so incredibly early to the party, right? You talk to 10 people, 9 of them have no idea what you're talking about. They might have heard of Section 8. They have no idea about how to actually do it or how to invest in it. And when I say you're early to the party, you think about, how many people need these Section 8 homes. Your property, it took us about a week to rehab, a little over a week, and we got like 23 or 24 applications for it before we found the right person in such a short amount of time, which is just mind-boggling. Yeah. And we've picked the tenant super quick. We weren't even done with the rehab yet. We have a tenant lined up, and it's only going to get worse. Like, the demand for these things is only going to get higher and higher as inflation goes up, and as the cost of living in the US goes up, and as wars continue to spring up everywhere all over the world. So the need for this is just going to continue to increase and increase and increase. One of the reasons I wanted you so badly to come on the channel, and again, I'm so thankful you did, is because a lot of people say to me, Rhett, it's too good to be true. It doesn't make sense. This is a scam, this and that, right? Having somebody like you who has an extreme knowledge of real estate, not only because you've been an investor, but because this is what you do every single day. Right. Nobody can BS you.
Yeah, true.
You're like BS.
I've seen it all.
You've seen it all. You've been in real estate so long. You've been an investor. You've been on the purchase side. You've been on the sale side. What are some of the commonalities? What are some of the differences in your experience so far with Section 8 more than everything else that you do?
It's funny you asked that, and I really haven't put too much thought into it. But when you say that I'm early to the game, I feel like I'm so late. And I'm glad you said that, because I hope it's true. I think once you get engaged and you find something that's interesting, you kind of just dive in, and it's all you read about and you listen to. Like, I'm at the gym, I'm listening to my podcast, all the time, watching as much YouTube videos of yours as I can, trying to learn everything I can. And you hear these people with, 100 units here, 200 units there, and I feel so far behind, but maybe I'm not. And I hope that inspire somebody else to just, go ahead and take that leap of faith, because that's what I did. And so I wanted to, touch on that, because you just said, and it's just, I feel behind, but maybe I'm not behind. And I hope that helps somebody that may feel the same way. In regards to what's different and what is the same, what I've figured out is, and if we're just talking about your coaching and your system, it's similar in terms of your time frames and everything else, meaning, the blueprint's the same. You make offers, you get a home under contract, you get a contractor in there, you set up property management, they screen a tenant, and then you get paid, right? And your monthly incomes. What was different about your process, because I've, sold hundreds and hundreds of homes, I'm so involved, because you've been in real estate a long time too. There's 20 people involved in every deal. you have a loan officer, you have the home inspector, you have the insurance, you have the attorneys, you have the admins, you have so many people involved in a process. So my day-to-day is literally fielding text, emails, phone calls about each deal that I'm helping my clients buy and sell. What was different about your course, which it made me a little nervous at first because it was so easy, Rhett. Like literally you're like, all right, here's the parameters we're looking for in this town that you want to start in. Okay, cool. Let's start, send me, 5 or 10 properties that you think you may want to make offers on. We do that. You tell me, what you think that we should offer on each property. And then I literally send that email to the agent. She makes the offers and you really don't hear anything until they're like, oh, hey, we're under contract. This is where you're going to send your funds. This is your closing date. And then it's like crickets until you get to closing. I was a cash buyer, so I didn't have to deal with the lenders and the appraisers and everybody else. It was like crickets. And then it's like, hey, we're closing next Friday. Perfect. Okay. You wire your funds. I text you, hey, we're closing on Friday. He goes, the guys will be in there on Monday. I'm like, geez, okay. And then it's like, you don't hear anything for a week or two. And I'm like, are they there? Is the house done? I don't know. I'm usually getting 30 phone calls on these deals that I'm helping people with. Don't hear anything. And you send me a text. You're like, Brendan, house is done. They're going to go find a tenant for you. Okay. Find a tenant for me. They did that. Now it's like, get your Section 8 inspection set up. And now hopefully everything goes smoothly this week. We'll have someone in there and they'll start receiving some income. So it's so much more hands-off than what I'm used to and in my day-to-day, because it's nonstop in my world of just phone calls, emails, questions from my clients, the other side of the deal, the buyer's agent, the seller's agent. And with all of that, it's so comforting and it's so nice to have just some peace and quiet. And it's like, they contact me when they need me. Do you need me to make a decision on this? You need me to send some funds here, closings here? You need me to mail something? It was really nice to have a smooth transaction and not have 50 phone calls. And I don't know if you thought that I was ignoring you in terms of like, I wasn't asking you a million questions, but I do, do this day to day, but I do because I don't know the area that I'm buying in. I don't know the contractors. I don't know the little things. I would ask you things here and there, like, hey, is this okay? Are we going? Are we moving the way we're supposed to be moving? And every time, you respond right away. Brendan, everything is great. I'm so proud. I'm excited. We're moving forward. It's just been a breath of fresh air. It's just not like anything I'd expected.
So that's such a unique perspective, Brendan, because you're in it every day, right? And you're the one that's facilitating all that stuff.
Yes.
You're my agent. I'm like, Brendan, I need you to set up the contractor. I need you to set up the inspection. I need you to do this. Did you like being less hands-off? Did it make you nervous? Did you want more control? What was that like for you?
It made me nervous only because I've done so many deals and I know how much communication is involved in it. And I'm already busy. I have young kids. They play sports, working full time, working a lot of weekends. And then to try to do investing in an area that I have no idea about, besides what I can find on Zillow and Realtor.com, those kind of things, to have you as that mentor that knows the area, that was going to try to steer me the best that they can, so I don't make a mistake. If we do make a mistake, hey, this is how we fix it. I never felt like, I was never really worried. That was my big thing going in, is I think a lot of people, especially, I felt like this in the beginning, where you get that analysis paralysis. You just watch so much content, you're overwhelmed by all the information, and you may start looking at things online and, not making offers, but, crunching numbers on your own. Oh, will this work? Will this work? And you just do it so much and then you never take action. And I'm like, man, my goal is to have one Section 8 property by the end of 2023. That was my goal when I got into this. And I think we spoke in July of this year. We had our first house under contract in August. Construction rehab was done in September. We already have someone lined up. I've kind of pushed my goal now. So I know there's only a couple of months left, but I want to try to get 2 more properties under contract and rehabbed by the end of this year. So I went from having a goal of just doing 1 in 2023 to now being like, all right, this process doesn't take up as much time as I thought it was going to. If I can roll a non-performing property that I have, sell that and roll it into 2 that are producing, I think I can do 3 this year. And that's my goal for the end of this year.
And I think it's totally a doable goal. I mean, if we start sending offers out on the second house this week,
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know why we can't have a closing by the first week of November.
Agreed.
Be done with it and have it on the market December 1.
Yeah.
So you crushed your first goal. I remember you telling me that you wanted one by the end of the year, and me thinking in the back of my head, one. Why? Right.
And you know that one's the hardest. And you say this in all your videos, right? Like just taking that step, making sure that first deal is flawless. And listen, mine was not flawless. No real estate deal is flawless. You know what I went through with the power company there. Like it's things that are out of your control. But hey, this is how we get around it. Okay, there's a little bit of a delay, not a big deal. And you kind of just talk us through it and calm us down a little bit. And that's just the momentum, I think, now having that one, even though like I don't even have the tenant moved in yet. We have approved them, but we haven't moved them in yet. And I'm already gunning now for 2 more. I know you like take it slow, get to know the feel, get to know this. So you may have to pull back the reins on me a little bit, but I think I can easily do 3 this year.
And I'm so glad you said that, Brendan, because that's why I like doing things a little bit differently than other people out there. If I just gave you a piece of paper and said, hey, look, here are the contacts, here's the market, this is how you look for property, good luck.
Yeah.
Talk to me, we'll do 1 Zoom call a month or whatever it is, right? Every time you run into an issue, you're screwed. What do? You have no idea. You have no boots on the ground where you're investing. You don't know anybody. You've never worked with anybody before. And you know this being in real estate. The only way to be successful in this is to have somebody with you every step of the way. Yes. You can't do this without a team. You can't do this without people that are trusted and that know what they're actually doing. Yeah. People who just dive into a market, and even you who knows so much more than the average person. I would go as far to say 10 times more than the average person as it relates to real estate. Even you investing in another market where you don't have people can lose money.
Yeah, easily.
And it's something where if you can lose money, and even me, if I invest in a market where I don't have any people or boots on the ground, it's very easy to lose money. But you're doing amazing. I'm so proud of you. Now let's get into what everybody wants to hear about. Let's talk about your house. Okay. So you bought this property for $75,000, 3-bedroom house. We listed it for $1,200 a month, full Section 8. Got it. Not even a question. Easy. Almost 30 applicants for it. The rehab was $12,000.
That's right.
New flooring, paint, electrical work throughout the whole house. All the Section 8 items that the home needed to get it up and running, new doors, some new closet doors, new light fixtures. We ran the gamut of everything that the house needed. You're into it for $87,000. You bought it in cash. You have no interest on it. Tenant's going to be paying $1,200. 10% of that will go to property management. So you're going to lose about $120 right off the top, leaves us with about $1,080. Insurance is going to cost you about $100 a month, right? So you're going to be at about $980. And then property taxes a month are going to be about $75. So you're going to be at about $905 of complete net profit on that unit. From a return standpoint, that's mind-boggling.
You can't find that where I live, that's for sure.
I mean, if we were going to buy something in North Carolina, what kind of, can we even cash flow positively?
The last year or two has been very tough. Like I said, the properties that I bought, 2+ years ago. COVID, this area exploded. Everyone left the cities. I have a lot of clients coming from the Northeast, California, which are still, very expensive markets, but they're coming here, which I feel is expensive, but it's relative, right? They're coming from multi-million-dollar properties. So yeah, there is, unless you're putting 50% down, you're not able to cash flow a property where I live.
Crazy. And to think that you're going to be netting about $11,000 a year into a property for under 90 grand, your return is going to be, 13, 14%. It's crazy to think about numbers that high, 13, over 10% on your invested capital, plus equity that we're gaining every single year in appreciation for the asset. You can't get those returns anywhere right now. I don't care where you put your money.
That's correct. And I just started the cash out refinance because I'm going to take those funds that I put in to help me, go on and get the next property. The home already appraised for 100 grand. I paid 80 something for it and I already have built in equity. And I'm taking that cash and I'm going to move it into the next property. And so that's the goal. Like I said, I try to have 2 more by the end of this year.
So Brendan, have you got on the cash out refi, the appraisal comes in at 100, we're into it for 87. Do you know how much you're going to have to leave in that property once we actually do the money and pull the equity out? Have they given you that yet?
Yeah. So, they'll max out at like 70%, give or take. So I'll have 60 something thousand left in, I'll be able to take 60 something thousand left out. I'll be leaving that 25 or 30% left in the deal. So I'll have enough to buy something that 60 to $70,000 range in cash. And then if I have some other cash, I'll have that, ability to fix it up and hopefully do the same thing. So it's just amazing how easy that this process has gone. And now I'm like, all right, I really need to talk with you and figure out, all right, I need to not be as conservative with my numbers and figure out how fast can I scale this thing? If I'm thinking 3 deals this year, can I do 5 next year? Can I do 10 next year? I know it depends on how much cash I have. But that is something that I definitely want to talk to you and figure out how we can come up with a plan. All right, did 3 this year. We got to at least do 3 or double next year, 3 to 6, and then kind of go from there. So that's what I would love to talk to you about soon.
Yeah, and we will. And what I talk about, Brendan, all the time is the first one, and you said this earlier, but the first one's the most important because the first one that you're into for a little under 90,000, that's what's going to allow you to rationalize, okay, I just spent 90, this worked. I'm getting guaranteed money every single month. I did the Burr method. I pulled my cash out or a big chunk of it out. I don't have a ton of money left in the deal. I'm going to do it again. So you go down the list. Okay. How was the team? Check. Was I able to get the tenant in there and pay guaranteed Section 8? Check. Was I able to do the Burr method? Check. You go down that list. Everything's checked. It works.
Yeah. As long as you have a process, you just replicate it. You just keep on doing the same process. So now that we have that tried and true, first one in the books, very easy. All right, how do we do it again? How do we do it again? How do we do it again? Because 1 or 2 is great. And let's be honest, most people in the US don't have 1 or 2 rental properties. But I'm looking at, okay, if I can have 3 this year, that's awesome. But then how do I get to 6 or how do I double? How do I double? So that is what was going to be my goal moving forward. Like, how do I keep pushing this needle and raising the ante? Like, how much better can I get at this? Because I know some of your students, I think I just saw a video recently. The original video, when you interviewed him, he had maybe 5 units, 3 or 4 or 5 units. Now he's at 18 units and he's only been with you maybe less than 2 years, right? I think, why can't I do that?
You can.
Yeah.
You can. And you know how you do it, and you've said it a couple times without even knowing, but you get there because you just said something great. You said most people in the United States don't even have 1 or 2 rental properties, right? That's so true. You're talking to clients that you have every single day. You understand how hard it is for people to add these properties. And then at the beginning of the interview, a couple minutes ago, you were like, I feel like I'm so behind. I see everybody with 100, 200 units. I feel like, I'm inferior. And the reality is you're 1,000% right. Nobody has rental properties. And if you put 100 people in a room and you said, who has 1 rental property? You might have 1 person raise their hand, just randomly selecting people. Yeah. And then if you say who has more than 1, nobody's going to raise their hand. But
that's so true.
You see every time on social media, oh, I have 100, I have 50, I have 55, I have 70. And you're like, I don't have any. Yeah, I might as well not even get started because I'm so behind.
Yeah, I hope you're watching. That's a great point, Rhett. Like, so many people do not own rental properties. And I see it every day. I may help someone buy their first one, or they help their kids buy a house near their school, the college that they're going to, things like that. But 99% of people and investors, or, part-time investors, don't scale, and they're not going to really take off. They're going to have 1 and they'll be fine with that, or 2. But you when you watch videos of investors, people talking about Section 8, multifamily, you hear that. You hear 50 doors, 100 doors, whatever it is. And it makes you feel I think of myself as a small investor, that we're so far behind. How do you get the money to do that? It's impossible. Prices are too high. Rates are too crazy. But that's the good thing about Section 8 is that the properties are usually inexpensive. Your interest rate might be higher, but your loan amount's small. So there's kind of give and take there. And let's be honest, during an election year, a lot of times we'll see the whoever's in office try to push the rates down to look a little bit better. That could happen next year. I don't know how much they can do that because of inflation and things like that. But even if it goes down a point and I can refinance again and then save, have more monthly cash flow, hey, if you got 4 or 5 properties, that starts to add up pretty quickly.
It definitely does. And Brendan, so with this house, your first Section 8 rental that we did, how many times have you seen it in person? How many times have you walked through it and touched it and done all that?
None. 0.
Would you ever have thought that you would have bought a house sight unseen, never seeing it, never going? You're in real estate. You know how crazy that sounds.
It is crazy. I could not imagine doing it. And you can't really do it without a team, right? That we've said this. During COVID, I had so many people that could not leave where they were to go see property. So I sold a ton of property via the internet, Zoom, FaceTime walkthroughs. But to not even have that and just, I trust these guys. Let's see what happens. It is totally different than the way I've done business, for the last 7 or 8 years. And it's a little nerve-wracking in the beginning, but it saves so much time. If you trust the team and you get the work done properly, you have you as a resource. I just feel like, man, this could be, I'm excited. I really am. I just want to see how far I can go with this thing.
I'm excited for you. And Brendan, you've been so generous with your time. And thank you so much again for coming on here. If you could talk to the people who are watching this video right now, where they are right now in their real estate journey is where you were back in June and July.
Yes.
They want what you have. They want to get started, but they're just they're afraid to take the leap. What would you tell them if you could talk to them directly?
It's hard to get someone to kind of take that first step to jump in with both feet, and you can crunch as many numbers as you want to crunch. But, and I forget the saying, but it's like, you can wait for the right moment, but I'm still seeing clients that waited before COVID because they thought prices were going to come down. And now they're paying twice the price for the house, 3 times the price for the interest rates. And you can never force someone to do something. You can only educate them and give them all the information. They have to take that first step. But I hate to say it, most people won't ever take that first step. It's scary, but you have a resource, you have a proven track record. I looked up Rhett Weissman. There's got to be some kind of, people having a grudge or did not get treated properly. Nothing. You see all the testimonials on your website or on YouTube. You can call you anytime, text you anytime. If you have a team and a mentor that has done this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, it's literally just copy, paste. So anyone that I'm talking to that has been watching all the videos and just waiting for that first opportunity, I'm telling you, just take it. You won't be upset you did. And once you have one, you get that bug and now you just want to own them all.
You're 1,000% right. And guys, any questions you have for Brendan, please drop them in the comments below, questions, comments, whatever it is. Put them down there. Brendan's always watching the videos. He's always in the comment section. He'll respond to you, and you guys can get a dialogue going. Thank you so much, Brendan, for coming on, and everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Rhett. Appreciate it.